Well, it looks like you're building another model.
Yes, I have a sentimental place in my heart.
Well, this is the Aoshima Honda CB400 from 1976.
Right, I had to scout all over the internet to try to find a CB Honda anything. They're kind of out of style. The idea I had was to recreate a motorcycle that I had many years ago. It was a Honda CB100. So I looked high and low on the internet to try to find a kit to recreate my passion. Me and this bike had a lot of fun together, and came up with the CB400, but it was close. This was taken right after I first got the bike. My grandmother thought I was crazy for trying to learn to ride a motorcycle, but this is out in front of our house. And it was a good day to go riding. I wanted to take off and enjoy the day. I would have been a senior in high school when this picture was taken. Now, as is typical with most models that you build, they want you to start with the engine or motor first. And not only did I have to start with the engine and motor first, I mean, the whole thing had to be assembled. It was a lesson on how a motorcycle engine goes together. Most motors are like two halves that you snap together. Not this one. It was built from the inside out. Once the motor was completed, it should have ran by then, but then I started on the other parts according to instruction. Now, because the original motorcycle kit was yellow and my bike was mostly white with blue and black trim, it had to be painted. And then trying to remember exactly how all of the decorations went on the bike, but I was able to use tape and some marking pens and duplicate it fairly well. And here again we have the motor. It had to go in just partly assembled. The rest of it will happen as the bike's put together. Now sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself and I have to just put parts on there just to see how they're going to look. I get a little bit excited when it's starting to turn out. Here's the tank in place, as well as the little covers that hide the battery in the toolbox. So again, everything's just kind of temporarily in place just to see how it will look. One of the things I found amazing about this model was the detail work. You can see on the engine that the covers aren't on there, but there's a lot of detail with the engine that's just covered up. And my favorite part was the battery. It actually had a battery underneath that cover. You won't see it, but it's there. Now most of it's put together at this point. I just need to attach the tank and the seat, this time for real, and put the motor covers on and the foot pegs. It should be about ready to go. And one of the other things I need to add are the clutch cable and the brake cable, speedometer cables, and for the tachometer. This kit came with every little detail to it. It really looks nice. Now the gauges and everything came with a decal. I didn't try to paint all that in there, and the little glass cover to go over it, the whole thing, but boy, it looks so authentic. And it also has for the instrumentation, I guess, for the signal lights and high and low beam headlight, and it's just wonderful, all this detail. And of course it's not complete without the license plate. And I was able to go on the internet and find a Utah motorcycle plate that was close from that era.
So is that your actual license number?
No, but there's a story behind that license plate. And it was one time my sister and I took off on my motorcycle and went riding. Got home and my dad's like, "Where's your license plate?" I'm like, oh no, it was gone. So we retraced our steps, so to speak, and I have never seen so many flattened tin cans on the road in my life. But we did find it. Well, being a CB100, they just don't make a model in that, so it's a CB400. I just had to make some changes around. I wanted it to be as close as possible. Now, a CB400 would have been even better. Well, here's the finished model, and boy, does that bring back a lot of memories. There were some fond memories. Like I say, me and this little motorcycle went to a lot of places.
You know, and I'd be really tempted to try to model some of my old cars or motorcycles. Just a fun thing to do.
Well, it makes a 3D picture. When you're trying to tell people about, what I did when I was young, they go, yeah. And sometimes there's too many pictures. Sometimes there's not any pictures. But recreating something like this, there it is. So here it is in its curio cabinet right next to some of the other models I've made of my past life. You can see part of my old 71 Camaro there. Those two are my counterparts. But boy, it sure brings back a lot of memories to be able to model something.
Well, this has been fun. Of course, we're always building models.
Right.
and running trains and doing all kinds of screwing around. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, you want to hit the upcoming subscribe button. And you might even think about clicking on the join button. That'll cost you a few dollars a month, but it sure helps us out. But go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. That doesn't cost a cent. So click on the upcoming blue button. Zoink! Right there, the blue button. We're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Sunday.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.